Damian Lillard bounced back with a vengeance. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the final player review of this offseason. We're going to be talking about the one, the only, Damian Lillard today. But before we jump into things, I'd like to thank our sponsor for this video, BetOnline. You can use the promo code BELIEVE, B-O-E-A-V, for a 50% reward bonus over at betonline.ag. You can get in on any sport right now and multiple types of betting. You got live betting, parlays, all sorts of fun stuff awaits you over there on BetOnline, and a 50% reward bonus awaits you as well with that promo code BELIEVE. Now, Damian Lillard last season missed a majority of it due to having core surgery. The Blazers tanked. We all know the whole story. There was questions this year as to if Dame could regain his old form or potentially be better now that he was finally healthy for the first time in years. I missed the player preview video on him because I didn't get around to it, which was unfortunate, but I did have goals set aside that we will talk about. But the expectations going into the season, people didn't really know what to expect out of Damian Lillard for the first time ever, and there was a lot of worry after the first game of the season in which he struggled. People were saying he's washed, and then he broke out and had a good stretch, dealt with some calf injuries during the course of the season, but he established himself once again as a top 10 NBA player in my opinion. So with that being said, let's take a look at the stats. And Lillard's stats were absurd. He averaged over 32 points per game and over 7 assists, almost 5 rebounds in 36.3 minutes. As far as goals that I had set aside for him, I wanted to see him get 29 points per 36. So he easily surpassed that, getting 31.9 per 36. He was phenomenal as a scorer, and I thought I was being a little bit ambitious giving him a goal of 29 points per 36 minutes, and obviously wasn't ambitious enough. The next goal I had for Dame was 4.5 rebounds per 36. He also surpassed that. He went on a stretch late in the season where he was getting like 7-8 rebounds per game. He was rebounding the ball really well, and it'll be interesting to see if that continues next season. Obviously, the Blazers aren't the best rebounding team, so Damian Lillard might need to get over 5 rebounds per 36 next season, but he surpassed my goal for him going into the season. And then I also had a goal of 7 assists per 36 minutes for Dame, and he got 7.3, so he surpassed that goal as well. The only goal he didn't reach was my steals goal. I wanted to see him get 1 steal per 36, and he finished at 0.9. So that's basically right there at 1 steal. I'm not gonna make it red because, I mean, he deserves green across his entire graphic here because he was shooting greens all season long. Let's take a look at the efficiency. I gave Dame a goal of 52% on twos, and he shot 57.4, so he was extremely efficient from inside the arc. Also got to the free throw line a ton. I had a goal of 38% on threes, and Dame barely fell short of that. He was at 37.1, but obviously with Damian Lillard, you have to take context into account with his three-point shooting. We'll talk about that in a second. And then the final goal that I had for Dame was to have a 62% true shooting percentage, which is quite a high bar. That is very efficient, especially when you shoot as many shots as Damian Lillard does, but he easily cleared that bar. He had a career high 64.5 true shooting percentage. This was Dame's best scoring season on volume, and also it was his most efficient season as well. That is why people say this was the greatest season that Damian Lillard has ever had. The positives for Dame, the first one is going to be his burst and athleticism, as that was the main question with him being 32 years of age, with him finally being healthy though after that core surgery. It was going to be interesting to see how much burst and athleticism Dame still had, and he looked as quick as ever. His first step was as good as ever. He had a couple impressive dunks during the season. He doesn't dunk as much as he used to, but that might be just to preserve his body. He's not going to go Ja Morant on people and risk health and injure himself like Ja does. So the burst and athleticism was absolutely a positive with Dame. The second positive was scoring volume plus efficiency that I just talked about. Being able to put up that many points efficiently is what makes him such a great offensive player. Part of that efficiency was his finishing this year, which he had his best year finishing at the rim. Normally this is one of the first things to decline, so it is a good sign that Dame had a good year finishing around the basket. According to Basketball Reference, Damian Lillard shot 67% from 0 to 3 feet. His previous previous career high was in 2014 to 2015, where he shot 64%. So Dame easily set a career high finishing at the rim. He also got to the free throw line a ton. Damian Lillard easily set a career high in terms of free throw rate at 46.4%. His previous career high was in 2019 to 2020, which was at 38.4%. So Dame got to the free throw line a ton. Per 36 minutes, he shot 9.5 free throw attempts per game. His previous high was 3 years ago, in which he shot 7.5. So Dame was even better getting to the free throw line than he'd ever been, and that's what helped him have such an efficient season, because he shot 91% on free throws. When you're getting there 9.5 times per game and shooting that percentage, that's almost 9 of his points that he was scoring each game. So it's a super efficient play for Dame to get to the charity stripe. He knocked down free throws and he got there a ton this season. The next positive is obviously his three-point shooting. I teased it, having to take context into account with Dame's three-point shooting. I'm going to give that context right now. Damian Lillard is one of the greatest shooters of all time, and you can't just look at the percentage just to prove that. You have to take into account the volume at which Damian Lillard shoots threes. This past season, he shot over 11 threes per game at 37%. That is very good volume and efficiency, but also he shoots so many deep threes that might make his percentage a little bit worse, but he shoots deep threes well enough that defenders have to respect it and guard him 30 feet away from the rim, and that opens up things for all of Dame's teammates. That opens up Dame's ability to be able to attack those guys, gives him more space to beat them off the dribble and get downhill and get to the rim. So when you take everything into account, the 37% that Dame shot from three this year doesn't do him justice, because he got that percentage on a lot of tough threes, because he shoots a ton of them, on a lot of deep threes. If he was just sitting here spotting up, shooting catch and shoot looks that were relatively open, he'd probably shoot 45% from three. So Dame's three-point shooting once again this year was absolutely phenomenal. And then the final positive was just his overall playmaking. For some reason, Dame haters like to discredit his ability to pass the ball to others or make plays for others. He averaged over 7 assists per game this year though, and at times his teammates weren't all that great. It's not like he has another star to give the ball to. If he was playing with Joel Embiid, he might average closer to 9, maybe even 10 assists if he had that pick and roll partner. So Dame, his playmaking was phenomenal this year. Once again, had stretches where he was a little bit sloppier than normal. The turnover mark was a career high at 3.3 per game, but he still had over a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. He still made plays for others. The way he reads the game is still extremely advanced, so that is a positive. Now let's take a look at the negatives, and there weren't many. I mean, the main one is just his defensive consistency. We've seen Dame step up against stars or in tough moments on the defensive end. However, this is just kind of rare, and he's not consistent on the defensive end whatsoever. He has good moments, but in general, just obviously is not a plus on there. That is kind of the one critique of him. The other negative I have is his efficiency from 3 to 10 feet is not good. According to Basketball Reference, he shot 42.7% from that range, and he took 11% of his shots from there. Now, this 42.7% is actually the best efficiency mark he's had from that range since 2018. For his career, he shoots 35% from this range. It's kind of been the Achilles heel of his, but he doesn't shoot a ton of shots from there, so it's nothing too problematic. I would just like to see if Dame can either eliminate shots from this range even more or become more efficient from this range. And then, I mean, after this, I legitimately can't think of another negative for Dame. If you have another negative, I mean, let me know in the comment section below, I guess, but I just sat here trying to find 3 negatives for him. I mean, offensively, there's not another negative. We covered the defense. His rebounding for a point guard was solid, maybe even above average this year. I can't find any more negatives for Dame. What the future holds from Dame, I mean, he's a Blazer. He's been loyal, and I expect him to be back in a Blazer uniform next season. Now the Blazers need to make moves around him to make the team better. However, I think that they will do that this offseason, so I don't think Damian Lillard will ask out like a lot of national writers seem to think every single summer. I expect Dame back in a Blazer uniform next year. I'm not going to talk about his contract for trade purposes or what a trade could look like. I don't want to trade Damian Lillard for absolutely anything. Damian Lillard has been loyal to the city. I'm willing to be loyal to him back. It's hard to find top 10 players. It's not like I'm talking about being loyal to a guy who was a second-round pick. I'm not talking about being loyal to Jabari Walker here, okay? It's Damian freaking Lillard. He just had the best individual season in Blazer history. Maybe you could argue against that, I don't know, but he just had the best season of his career, and he's the best Blazer ever, in my opinion. He just set the franchise scoring record. I mean, he is the Portland Trailblazers at this point. Get him another star, or get him a couple of other good pieces, and this team can absolutely win. As far as my grade for Damian Lillard this season, I give him an A+. The fact that he surpassed my expectations when I thought I was being optimistic for him coming off his injury means that it's absolutely an A+. I mean, of course, as with any player, you can say, oh, well, if he defended better, then what? You'd give him an A++, but at this point, he had the greatest individual season in Blazer history. So how do you not give that an A+? Anyway, that wraps up this video and the player review series. If you've missed any of my player reviews, there is a playlist link in the description box below, so you can go back and watch those. Thank you to Bet Online. Use the promo code BELIEVE for a 50% reward bonus over there, and I'm out of here. I'll catch you in some upcoming May content, which will look a little different, and I'm excited for that. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.